Hello, hello, hello. This is another day. Today is day 11. Day 11. This is wonderful. If you have been following, put in the comment how this has been of help and how this has been of great things to you. Let me know how this has been able to bless you in a very real deal. Honestly, it is very, very important for us to really see how this is being a blessing to all of us. I must confess, I'm enjoying it, and I know you are enjoying it too. And at the same time, we just want to make sure that we are getting the clarification of that you are doing the exercise. You are not just reading, you're not just following, you're also doing the exercise. This is a 90-day screenplay from concept to polish. From concept to polish, this is just to let you know that something good is coming up from time to time. Like I used to say, I will always start with the quotes. I'm not the owner of the book. The 90-day screenplay is from Alan Watts. You can buy the book on Amazon. Excellently well, very well written a book. That's very good. Now, day 11. Sometimes questions are more important than answers. Nancy Willard. Sometimes questions are more important than answers. Many times we don't know that our questions can actually don't need some answer. When Jesus Christ was leaving the world, he said, if I come back, would I find faith on earth? There was no answer. There was no answer. Because sometimes the questions, so that you can think and think and think, not necessarily for the answer, but for you to know that this question exists and you also know it. So the 11th title is Balancing Your Brain. Balancing your brain. That is the title. Balancing your brain. Balancing your brain. Alan will say, script writers, if you are beginning to envision things, feel free to write them down. That is, if you're thinking of things now, begin to write them down. From this time on, I begin to take my action. I begin to explain some things with whatever I'm reading. Okay? Don't just spend too much time shaping or refining them, because you will discover that they are going to shift and change as you continue to imagine the world of your story. Well, the first time you're writing a story, you have a perspective. The second time you have another perspective, you begin to think about, even when everybody is saying, wow, ooh, wow, ooh, ooh, you also have something that, oh, this is not too good. No, let's adjust this one. We want our character to feel alive, not like they are pieces on a board game that we are forcing around at will. Our goal is to create a screenplay that builds in meaning as it progresses. I repeat, our goal is to create screenplay that builds a meaning as it progresses. So as you are writing, it's meaningful to you, it's becoming more meaningful. By working on the daily themes of consciousness, writing exercise that I've said, please go back to it. Say day 2, day 7, look at it and all that. Writing exercise while exploring the structure question. We are marrying the wilderness of our imagination to the rigor of story structure. Marrying the wilderness the wildness, right? The ILD, okay? Wildness of our imagination to the rigor of story structure. Without both elements, our screenplay risks becoming either terribly imaginative with no through line, or rigorously plotted with little character development. And these are facts. I've seen it even in my own writing. I've seen this, and I have to keep on working more and more on it. By balancing these two tasks, we connect to what we are attempting to express, and we see these things through a particular lens. Simply coming up with interesting plot movement is not enough. Somebody can come up with fantastic things, and it's not enough. Oh, I need this, I have this, I need it. Fine. A father and a mother were doing this and all that. Fine. The story flows. Okay? So our script must be grounded in the theme. The best script the best scripts make this look easy. The best script make this look easy. The story flows. This builds a meaning. There are emotional peaks and valleys. There are character revelations and plot reversals. So you can change it at any time. That's what I mean. When you look at a well-written screenplay like Paddy Chayefsky's Network, Chayefsky's Chayefsky's Network. Everything in the story is in service to his dramatic question. It is not simply a story about Newman who loses his job because of poor rating. It is not even ultimately about network news. It's about something larger, something universal. It is about the human impulse to escape through other people's pain and suffering. It is about how we try to lose ourselves with all sorts of distractions. And all of the characters are struggling with this issue in different ways. We have 100 and so pages to create a word. Okay? So pages to create a word. Therefore, we cannot afford to say just one thing per scene. Each scene serves multiple purposes. Each scene serves multiple purposes. Okay? By allowing our imagination to soar, while continue returning to the dilemma at the heart of our story, we begin to see not only why the scene belongs, but what it means and how it is in the service to our theme. Now, the ticking clock. All right? If the balance in the brain is the thing, the ticking clock will help us as we round up very soon. The ticking clock. It helps when there is urgency to your story, or at least a time frame, whether there is a great white shark lurking by the shore as the 4th of July approaches, or we have a boss, a BUS, boss, that we explode and kill a bunch of people when it slows below 50 mph, miles per hour, okay? Even My Dinner with Andrew. Even My Dinner, that's the title of the movie, My Dinner with Andrew, with its simplified ending, the title, provides the time frame for the audience. The audience want to know what to care about. A shark lurking by the shore is scary, okay? But what makes it terrifying is that the city fathers cannot afford to warn 1,000 unwitting beach goers on the 4th of July. Think about what makes your story urgent, particularly in Act 3. If you have not, go back to the exercise that we have. So we go to the writing exercise. You need to look at those things and you need to look at it critically, especially this week 2 that we are going on. So writing exercise for today. 1, as your protagonist, write for 5 minutes. Beginning 5 minutes. Beginning with A, my earliest memory is ... End of quote. B, the cruelest things anyone ever said to me was ... I don't actually remember this, but I'm told that ... A debt that I can never repay is ... A debt that I never repay is ... I'm always choked to hear that ... End of quote. The problem I can never solve is ... Until tomorrow, I would say, don't forget, don't just be creative, stay creative and be a person of creativity.